before I run in, I felt like letting you guys know what's been going on since I haven't updated too much. But, after my taper with Remeron, um, honestly, I probably only have like 3 or 4 tapers left. But it's been so far and few between that I taper now because it's so grueling. It's so hard, and it's getting harder. I taper the same amount every time, but the lower I go is the bigger the percentage is. So then it gets harder. And it seems to take a long time for it to kick in. This time it took a little over a month to really start peaking, which was crazy because usually it's quicker. Like at first when I tapered, I had a lot of mental stuff. And then it cooled down a little bit. And then it just slowly got worse and worse and worse. Oh. Physical symptoms off the charts this time. It kind of felt like, if you remember my story at all, when I over tapered Remeron, I doubled my taper thinking it would be okay, and it wasn't. And I think I recovered from that for about 2 years before I tapered again. That's why this has been so long. But now that I'm getting lower, that percentage is going higher. And honestly, I would have been off this medication so long ago if Remeron was my only situation that I had to deal with. But as we know, that's not the case. Benzo's pretty much destroyed what I know as, you know, a normal reality. So my nervous system is so shot and fucked. And then it did it again. This taper completely fucked me up. Sensory stuff is out of control. I can't seem to keep things together. I went out for work on Tuesday and I haven't been out since. But it's a weight thing I have to do, which sucks because, like I decided to go to the grocery store today, but it's like it's so hard to be on my feet. Like I can do it, but the ramifications of being on my feet have been really hard. And it makes my symptoms so much worse. But I also can't just sit at home all the time. I need to keep moving to a point. And and I'm losing my thoughts a lot too now. So it's become super complicated. And I'm back in a very sensitive state. And you think you get a lot stronger in this, because because I don't taper. Like last time I didn't taper for 6 months. But this time I'm almost thinking of not tapering till next year, because this is going to take a while to recover from. And if that's the case, I'm not getting off this for a lot more years. And I know everybody would think it's like a fucking joke, but my body, like, I can't handle it. I mean, I'll see where I am in 6 months, of course, but I can't imagine this just being okay in 6 months. But maybe. Just that's where my head's at right now, so it's hard to say. But it's been grueling. It's been so hard. This is probably one of my hardest tapers. Mentally, I'm doing okay, so I can't say it's the hardest for me mentally. I have my times because my sensory's so bad, and I'm not hallucinating, which I knock on fucking wood. I hate even talking about it because things can progress still. I'm not hallucinating like I sometimes do. But since I have visual snow in general, like my vision and everything is definitely off and weird and acid trippy more. But yeah, my face is like, it's getting a little bit better. I would say I'm another 5% better today than I was the other day, where my face was completely numb on the bottom. This is all old school symptoms that I used to have, and if you followed me, you might even remember me talking about them. Um, but it's the crawling and burning on my skull and my akathisia and my fucking legs and just so much bizarre shit. All because I tapered a little bit of Remeron. I just really hope that when I am off this, I'm sure I'll be fucked up for a few years, but I'm really hoping that a lot of this stuff at least somewhat resolves and it's not something I have to deal with. Because, I mean, I suppose I would deal with it to a point with stress and whatnot, but kicking back would probably be much quicker. But I never want to go through withdrawal again like this. I mean, but I am on Prilosec. So I have to get off that. So I don't know what that's going to do to my nervous system. So who fuck knows? Oh, I think, well, with Remeron, I taper, I don't remember. I don't usually talk about that because people get so fucking anal when I talk about exacts. Let's just say this last taper is probably 12%, and it's because I have to do it that way because I'm pretty low. I don't like to give exact amounts just because every time I do, everybody on fucking line just has a fit and starts telling me this is my fault and that couldn't bother you, blah, 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 blah. So, but yeah, it gets a little higher every time. And next time it's probably going to be like 14% because I can't go any lower. I just can't. It's impossible now. So, and I've always dry cut, so I am not changing it now. I just have to tolerate it. But it's too much, that's for sure. But I'm not going to go any slower anyway because I can't. I mean, it's already going to take me another 2-3 years, probably longer. Who fuck knows? Depending on now, if I start waiting a year, Christ, it's going to take me forever. And I'm going to be on here bitching forever. But I have to weigh it because it's either, because I'm getting my life back. And like I said, December was one of my best months I've had. Although still sick, I still did so much, which I totally overdid it. But then that was part of my problem. But I enjoyed my life. And you can't beat that, And I can't say I've thoroughly enjoyed my life as much as I did in December. But things have just been downhill since because I did enjoy my life and then I had to taper, come February. So, is what it is. I mean, it starts to get exhausting. In all ways. I'm exhausted and tired, but I'm exhausted in just doing this. And that's part of the problem is I'm exhausted of it all. It's like these symptoms are hard. The anxiety's been rough again. Not as rough as last taper. I think it decided to take the route of physical hell this time. And I'm hoping in 6 months I'll be a ton better and I can just taper again. But so I would have to February, March, April, May, June, July. I'd probably do 7 months. But I don't know. And if not, then if I'm not ready then, I'm just going to hold out to the end of the year so I don't ruin my fucking holidays. And then go from there. And maybe I'll be strong enough by then where the next taper won't be so bad and I can get back to tapering on a regular schedule. I just don't know. But I can't overdo it because, to be honest, I don't like the suicidal thought bullshit. It's like I don't want to off myself or nothing, but I just hate how the brain takes you to these places. And it gets pretty fucking dark. So I know a lot of people can understand where that is and how that is and how that works. But my body hurts a lot right now. A lot of flu feeling, body hurts, a lot of nerve pain, akathisia, burning, pinpricking. Very typical of early on. It's like, man, my nervous system's so fucked up. And I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday, and I gave her this kind of example, and I kind of like it. It's like a normal person's nervous system stays like this. And when they do something stressful or something that bothers the nervous system, it kind of gets like this, and then it goes back. Whereas our nervous system, is like this all the time. So we're trying to get it to be like this, but it's like this all the time. And when we fuck it up bad, it's like this. But then it takes so long to get back to the baseline, which is usually just like this. And then after you're off the meds and you can kind of get on track, hopefully the nervous system sticks around here, because it's never going to be like this. It's never going to be super strong. That's just it. That's just how it is, and I know it. But I'll have to be careful. But I'm looking forward to, that. But it might not be as when I thought it would be, because I don't want to do all this and get all the way here just to have me completely destroy myself in one way or another. I can't do it. I thought the tapers would be easier as I went, but no, it got harder. It got harder for sure. And I kind of knew it would, just because my body's holding on to it so much. And the less I'm on, it's like, the percentage goes a little bit higher every taper, because I do a certain amount. So, it's been so fucking long. It's been so long. We're coming on a decade. A year and a half would be a decade. That's fucking crazy. So long. But I also want to have the majority of my 50s be off that medication. Now, I still have Prilosec to deal with, and it's either I stay on it, which I can't imagine them prescribing me forever, or I can transfer to the over-the-counter stuff, which isn't the same. But I could transfer over to that and just deal with it, which I will for a while. But eventually, I'd have to taper it. And if I wanted to taper it, I'd have to be on the prescribed stuff, which is all little beads. But the store stuff isn't like that. It's like not easily tapered type stuff. So I have no idea what to do with that. I've been on it for so long, I can't even fathom it. Yeah, oh, shit, I might even be 9 around then. I don't know. 9 years. Yeah. I know I'm 8 years and something. I just haven't checked in a long time. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, comment is it gets old. Yeah, it gets very old. And that's the thing, it gets so old. Hence the exhaustive part of it. You just are so tired of it. And then when symptoms like now, I'm in a setback as well, obviously. It's like, are you serious? And I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, this is probably one of the worst setbacks she's seen me in so far. And I'm just like, I have to go back to living how I did a while ago. And then when it starts getting better, I can re-examine things and do stuff. Like now I'm on my feet, then I start getting really disoriented and dizzy and stuff, within 15 minutes. Whereas before I tapered, I was starting to be on my feet for like 3 hours before that happened. And that took me almost a decade to get to that point. And that was fucking phenomenal. 3 hours? You can do a lot in 3 hours before getting really fucked up. So I was pretty happy with that. I finally got to that point. But now I'm back to minimal. Very minimal. And I'm also been staying home a lot now. The more I stay home, the worse that disorientation crap happens. It's such a bitch. It's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. Yeah, I'm just sad. But anyway, I'm gonna head off here, and all I can try to be positive in the end is that it does get better. And I always say, if you don't need to go on anything else after benzos, don't. Because getting off of it is more hell than anything I've ever done. So, and it's years and years and years. Unless you could just suck it up and suffer and not have to work and just deal with the ramifications of it. But I couldn't. I couldn't. And even though I can now, I'm not. I'm not putting myself through that hell. It'd be years of torture. No. So I'll just taper super slow. I've been noticing comments on old videos that say, "You haven't updated in a long time. I hope you're okay." It's weird. I've got so many videos up. So many. I don't know if it's just hard to find via the channel. I have no idea. But it's available. And I mean, I'm not updating too much anymore, but I do update more when I'm in bad shape. And like I always say, if you don't hear from me, it means I'm doing better. You know, in general, if it's been a long time, it means I'm doing better. And I will pop on here to let you know, you know. And I'm hoping one day I can come on here and be like, you know what, I just don't need to be on here anymore. My life is so much better, and unless I'm in some sort of weird setback, I'm not coming back. And that's what I hope for all of us. Anyway, take care of yourself, and we'll get through this.